Guys, it is the Archangel here, and today I am showing you something that I've been wanting to show for a while, but I just recently perfected it, or sort of in functionality. Appearance is not perfect. You probably just heard it go off then and again because it's very sensitive. It is my custom 11th Doctor Sonic screwdriver. The paint's a bit messy at the moment. I'm planning on redoing all this. This is just Mark 1 of it. The functionality's all done, so it all works. Just give me a sec to elevate my camera so that I can show you properly. I tried very hard to, and the camera's not focusing because this is what you get filmed from an iPod. I tried very hard to replicate the CT and the rubber toe versions. So I got the brass rivets there. I can't bevel out that line, so just put some grey paint there. I may see if I can take this apart and do it, and maybe mould these pieces out of pewter in college and then polish them and put them back on. Maybe get some copper sheeting and cut it into shapes and then glue it on top of this to kind of give it that look, but I don't know. Again, I might do it. I paint the stitching down here tan just to kind of bring it out a bit, I guess, and it still works. As it is a touch control version. And you probably noticed there's no button there, but we'll get onto that in a minute. Power core still comes out. This was used in one of the episodes, actually, where Peter Capaldi was inside that Dalek, and he's literally there unscrewing something. He tosses it towards a guy, and the guy swallows it, and it gets evaporated. That was used in that episode. I do remember that. The white paint on here is very bad. Very bad indeed. Yeah. Ugly battery compartment. Bleed up there, I don't know what I was doing there. I used a Games Workshop paint on this, you know, the Citadel paints. I used a copper on it. I used the special silver, which has a lot of pigment. Unfortunately, some of it came off and stuck to my fingers when I was doing a bit of glue work on it, because I used super glue to stiffen parts up. And, yeah. The LED's still bright. The claws are quite tight around the emitter, except this one's a bit loose, but, like, I need to work on it a bit. Hold on. If I push it in enough, the claws will not budge out at all. As you can see, they're very tight around the emitter head. Like they're actually touching it. Because I've done some extra work to this. Now, the big selling point, well, not selling point, the main attraction for this is its flicking. Yes, this is a plastic toy that can flick open. Yes, it does that. This throws me off, however. This is not accurate. It really throws me off. I really don't like that. I might paint that green and then paint a fake one in there and then maybe paint all this dark green, and I keep activating the thing. But yeah, the fact is, also you can't just do that anymore because I popped glue in there to kind of thicken it up a bit. So you have to do that like you would with a rubber toe. It's a bit more durable. It's a lot more durable than the rubber toe, because the rubber toe one was all riveted together. And that one was good. That one looks gorgeous. It really does. But the problem is, though, the early versions had major problems. Of course, this doesn't, this being a plastic toy. And the Propsmith, kudos to him, he did a really good review on it. Said that, you know, they shouldn't be having these problems, like, they shouldn't be having these problems and then sorting them right at the very end. They should, considering it's like an $800 or £800 replica, they should be having these problems sorted out before it's even released. And honestly, I do agree, because you are paying nearly £1,000 for a metal replica of a sonic screwdriver. And keep in mind, this doesn't even have sounds on it. I've seen the prices; they are ridiculous. But you know, I suppose the materials are very high quality. But I mean, come on, I could get high quality copper for £80 and probably make most of this. The fact is, it's just ridiculous. I didn't flick it hard enough. Unfortunately, this thing does require quite a hard flick, and as you can hear, you get a nice clacking sound. I like the rubber toe one, but I just, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on Nick Roboto or anything. I think his work is amazing. It's just an awful shame that the first release of the Matt Smith screwdriver was very shoddy. First batch of them And at least he offered a free repair service, but paying for parts, that kind of feels like you're paying for repairs, at least in my opinion. But still, this, I mean, the LED's still bright. My only gripe is that there's no light in the power cord. If there were lights in the power cord, that'd be pretty cool. I have recently seen, actually, and it looks really good, a Vote Saxon's review of the Shark Eaten one. And that literally makes me want to buy another one of these and destroy this end just to make it like that. I would literally get a soldering iron, gouge bits in it with it, cut parts off, glue the LED to the very bottom and just have it like that, and saw these pieces off. And that's a similar technique that I used to mod this. Because originally the claws were like this. They were aligned like this. And the stitching would be at the top. That was horrific. This just looks awful. This looks a lot better. Of course, I've not got the claws closed in properly. I have to give it a good firm smack. Yeah, a good firm smack will always do it. And what I did is I got a saw, and right between here, right this seam between this copper piece and this leather piece, well, black piece, I sawed carefully down the middle, also not to catch the wires, but the core's in the way. The core goes all the way down to there, so you're going to get some resistance. And then it came off. Now, this is the third one I've owned. The first one, the mod did not go successfully. I glued it in place, I flick it, and the whole thing literally flew off, and the wire came off with it, and it got completely destroyed. So I bought another one. The sound chip was faulty, and the mod went successful, but the sound chip just died. It was faulty, and I was not offered a replacement. Well, I asked for a replacement. They refused to give me one because I didn't have the receipt, even though I wasn't asking for my money back. And that was before I modded it, so I just thought, mod it anyway, see if my mod works. Mod worked, and then after that, I tried taking this apart, seeing if I could fix sound chip. Well, not this version, the previous version. Tried taking it apart, sound chip didn't work, and yeah. So then, I bought this version. Again, these unsightly hollow bits in the claws are absolutely horrendous. If I copied those into pewter, like literally took the piece out there, I could probably just glue a nail in. I would I would cast these in pewter and then bevel and then sand that off to make it smooth, get it polished, and it would be very nice. Problem with pewter is it's very soft, but it's not like you play with these bits. But these bits, if that was pewter, it would stay like that, and it would cause problems. But I don't know. Maybe I could make them out of silver. I don't know. But still, this version has had the most augmentation done to it. I still kept the power cores from the other ones, so I have like 3 power cores, which is weird. Also, another fun thing is this is actually green. There's a piece of green plastic on the inside of it. You probably can't see it very well because of the light, but it is there. I do notice it. Actually, I wonder if I could use one of my others as a light source. Where's my Peter Capaldi one? Just give me a sec. Peter Capaldi, screwdriver, where are you? Where are you? There you are. This is also nice as well. If anything, this is one of the best ones because CEO, like Character Options, present 2 replicas to work with. This is an isolated problem to mine, I believe, but sometimes the up motion doesn't work. So you have to push it gently, not hard, or else it doesn't always work. It's a bit... Again, everything I buy ends up being temperamental. And you can probably tell by the mucky brass, I've tried to paint it. I may take this apart and replace these parts with cast pewter as well. And then get a brass ring, or maybe get a piece of brass, anneal it enough, and then glue it around here, make it look like actual brass. Maybe do the same with these bits as well. That'd be pretty cool. In fact, fun fact about this screwdriver, actually. When this first appeared in the episode where it was flinging through the air and Peter Capaldi had to catch it and then did this, the official prop for this, wasn't actually made yet. Can't remember where I read that, but it was quite surprising. So they already had the models of this done, they just CGI'd it, and then of course 2 replicas of these were sent to Character Options, and they used their CAD machine. The only inaccuracy is that these here are metal and not brass in the actual toy version, but I remedied that by painting them brass. And there's not a grub screw here. There's a grub screw here, one here, but it's not one here. There's also some faux ones moulded in here and here and here and here. And at least the biggest gripe for me, this is the most annoying thing, bloody seams. I could, I would get a piece of silver, copy it in that shape, cut it out, and glue it on there. Because those seams, I know it's not the toy's fault, but those seams really pay me off. They really get on my nerves. It's the only unsightly thing. It's worse than this, in fact. Oh, and the battery compartment for this is the best thing ever. Yeah, this is really cool, battery compartment. This is brilliant, this is. But we're talking about this. Again, the leather was painted black. And while it was wet, I had to remove the batteries because, unfortunately, wet paint was just making it do that all the time, and it was just getting on my nerves. And it would have drained the batteries. So I took the batteries out, painted the black, waited for it to dry, painted the stitching on, and then I put gloss over it. And that's why it appears very shiny and glossy on camera. And the brass paint and the silver paint and the copper paint are all metallics. And yeah, it is not the best custom in the world. There are far better customs out there. I may end up, you know, one day in my life, you never know, I might end up buying one of the actual metal ones, like the CT version or the rubber toe. I'd probably get the CT because that actually includes a sound. But, I mean, the rubber toe I would like more. I don't know, because it was made, I don't know, just because, I think it's because it was made by the guy from the show. I'm not too sure. I think the rubber toe looks good, but the CT, I have to give it to CT for functionalities. I'd still keep this one, of course. But to anyone who has one of these, I would suggest modding it. Because, like I've done, again, I am not an experienced modder. I've seen Vote Saxon 07 do it. And if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have done this. Though I had to do mine a lot differently than his, because mine is the touch control, whereas his was the very shitty first release, where as soon as you extended it, the button there didn't work. So you had to flip that down, and then you had to sort of hold it like that and awkwardly press it with your little finger, and it was just annoying. Or, little black button in there, press that and activate it. How did that even get through the design phase? Surely the guy sat there and said, that's not accurate to the prop. And in this version, like, this, I mean, this is good and all. But I shouldn't have to mod it. Like, 5 years in the making of this toy. We had this. The claws were like this. We had a stupid button that extended it. And I've pulled the spring out as well. I literally cut the spring in half and untwirled it. Because even then, the spring was too powerful. The claws weren't sitting flush. It never sat flush anyway, but it wasn't helping any matters. Also, if you look carefully, you can somewhat see the wire in there. The glue has kind of misted that up. It's not as bad in person, actually, though. I might paint this a dark green, I don't know. But this, even though this is a custom, it's still nothing compared to CT or rubber toe. Like, but considering I'm a poor fucker and have barely any money, this is the best I'm going to get. Like, all you prop collectors out there who have a load of money to buy the actual CT and rubber toe versions, you're lucky sons of bitches. You really are. Because I have barely any money, so these toy ones are what I have to settle with. Worse for me, because I know I spend the same amount of money on a rubber toe version on these just to mod them to get them right, pretty much. I mean, this is 20 quid. Or $20 in the US, I don't know, probably $30 in the US, which is even worse, because this is £20 here, so 3 of these is £60, but if I was in America, it'd be nearly $100 for 3 of these, which, in my opinion, is a complete colossal rip-off. And what's even more insulting is that Character Options made one of these for £10 that, wait for it, did not extend. And even more insulting, there was a big seam going down the middle, including this claw, and there was a screw hole underneath these claws. It's like they knew it was so cheap, so they just put screw holes in it anyway. That is borderline insulting. Like, who thought that was a good idea? Lower the price down on this. Take the spring out. Make it a flick action so you don't have to do this stupid button and lower the price a bit. I've done it. And all it cost me was glue, a toy, and some paint. And they could have done with some better paint, like better copper paint, I think. Because the copper paint on the original was not that good. Like, this is so coppery. If it wasn't metallic, if it was more of a matte finish, it'd be like real copper. And I know, I've seen real copper. I have a piece of real copper on my Infinity Gauntlet that I'm making. Yes. This is brass. Actual brass and actual copper. That's still not finished. I really need to rework those fingers. But still, there is no excuse for half the shoddy things that went into this. No excuse at all. I'm sorry. I don't care. If you think Character Options is the best toy company in the world, half the shoddy things that went into this one toy are inexcusable and borderline insulting to any Doctor Who fan. Don't get me wrong. I like CEO. They've given us some cool stuff. They've given us this, which is brilliant, and in one way better than the rubber toe because it has lights and sounds, which the rubber toe just has lights. But I think maybe rubber toe should start getting their own sounds in there because it'll make them even better. Like asking you to pay more for sound, in my opinion. Sorry guys, but I think in my opinion that's just a rip-off. Sound should be a standard. In fact, no, there should be two versions. With sound, without sound, but they're both the same. Both the same price, pretty much. Because having to pay... In fact, wait a minute, hold on. Let me just rephrase all that. Sound should be included standard, but if you want one without sound, the price is slightly cheaper. Say, for example, this is 600. This is a rubber... Right, let's just do a bit of imagination here. This is a rubber toe replica. It includes sound. £600, right? Or $600. One without sound could be $400. Could be 400. Simple. Or 500, 550. The thing is, 800 for one of these made out of metal, as good as they are made, I'm sorry, but I don't see how that's worth money. Yes, they are made by the guy from the show. They're made out of the highest quality materials, aluminium, aluminum, however you want to pronounce it, and brass and all sorts of stuff is a great thing. But charging nearly £1,000 is ridiculous. And I'm not saying that because I hate the company. I don't hate Rubber Toe. I think what they do is amazing. Like, the stuff they do is absolute gorgeous. But what my problem is that, well, they're not very accessible to us common lot. They're more meant like Hot Toys for the somewhat snobby, not snobby, that's not the right word to use, for the posh collectors. And I say that term very loosely. They're made for the rich buggers. The One Company one was like this, but the first version they did not extend, which, again, there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that, because if they engineered it on the 12th one, they could have done it way before. And this version is, again, the CEO version is the worst because 5 years down the line, they still can't get the bloody extending action. That's enough of my rants. Anyway, this flicks out. That's what matters. I still shouldn't be having to mod it, but at least I did. Give me some fun anyway. I also have others. I have a botched 10th one, which does not work. And I have two of the classics. This is painted because the paint was wearing off, so I had to use Umbro on it. Because the paint on the original paint was wearing off. This isn't paint, this is actually all a sticker that goes... This is a clear sticker with black stripes that goes around a yellow painted piece. Talk about cost cutting on that. And this one is the worst. In fact, no, both these use the same sound chip, which is from this. No, they should have put the War Doctor sound chip in it. And what's worse, this one is a static piece. Unlike the milled metal version from RB, I think it is, which actually extends. That would be cool. Another one, this is the other one. This one is completely botched. This is the corpse of my 10th Doctor one. I've not been able to get a replacement yet. Yeah. The only thing I believe that still functions from this, if I take it all apart, is the sound chip. And I don't even know that functions right. The problem is all the regular releases have the War Doctor sound chip, so that's even stupider. Right, this video is turning into a rant. Yay. I tried modding it to make the switch... Hold on, it's being a div now. Make the switch here. And it did work for a time being, until, wait for it, the wire broke. Then I had to solder iron on it, and it just made a god almighty mess. To be fair, didn't have the right soldering iron tip. But still, I have to get a new one of these. This body will still be used, as in a custom one of these, to change batteries, you would just, like, slide this silver piece off, and then pull the whole assembly unit out, and then swap the batteries, and then stick the assembly unit back in, and then pull that back on. Easy. But as it goes, this thing is a corpse. Still, purpose of the video, that. Also, the funny thing is the LED is a lot brighter on camera than it is in person, which is really weird. Come on, work, you knob. Yeah. Not the best custom in the world, but I take pride in it because, well, I think this is one of a kind in a way. Like someone actually tried to mimic the rubber toe. Yeah, sorry about ranting on in that video. I suppose most of you would agree with me that Sia were just really cheap when making these. At least the plastic was decent quality anyway. At least it looked like the damn thing and was the right colours, unlike Hasbro with Transformer figures where they barely put any colour on them at all and just have them all fucking grey. Still, rant over it, fact is, flicks open. Well, actually, if I just hold the camera and do it here. See? I personally like the clacking noise from it, it makes a nice clack. So I've been the Archangel, showing this off, doing a bit of a rant. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next video. Peace.